All right, so in the front, before you leave, please make sure you pick up your prompts for next week. There's nothing you're doing with these until this weekend, yeah? Nothing, but they are there for people who, everyone's going to pick them up just so everyone knows they have it, but it is not anything that needs to be done. Good? Perfect. Today I'm doing Unit 3 because there's not a shot in hell I'm going to finish it. So let's go. So, Unit 3. Unit 3 is 1450 to 1750. Write that down very clearly on the top of your notes. Okay? Now, okay? So, Unit 3 is 1450 to 1750. I want you to write next to Unit 1, 1200 to 1450. I just want to make sure we have our timing down, please. Next to Unit 1, it's 1200 to 1450. Next to Unit 2, it's 1200 to 1450 as well. So we are finally starting in Unit 3, shifting to 1450 to 1750. Yes. Unit 1 and 2 are 1200 to 1450. Unit 3 is 1450 to 1750. Not that you need to know this because we're not going to talk about this for 2 weeks, but Unit 4 is 1450 to 1750, and I'll be better about telling you what periods we're in. Sound good? Here we go. So we are in 1450 to 1750. All right. So today we are going to start with, I do want to do a little bit of cleanup information. In 1450, we get the arrival. So we're going to write in Europe as your heading. We're going to start in Europe because week 11 is the hurricane week. Where we had no school? Yeah? Oh, week 7 or whatever it is. Someone said 11 to me earlier. Oh, 11 is another thing. Okay. Week 7 was hurricane week. And you didn't get to learn about the Protestant Reformation. So we're going to crush it right here. I'm going to give you a breakdown of it. So here we go. Europe is your heading. We're going to write Protestant Reformation. I did teach you a little bit of it, but I'm going to clean up some of the details for you. Okay, Protestant Reformation is led by who, Kira? Martin Luther. It's in 1517. Martin Luther is a German monk. His biggest complaint against the Catholic Church is what, Zoe? Yes, but there's a specific complaint. Because saying the Catholic Church is corrupt is a little redundant. You have to be specific about your complaint. Micah. Okay, and what is that called? There's a vocab term. What is a vocab term, Sailor? Indulgences. And what is an indulgence, Tejas? Wait, what? Yes, I thought you said like racist, and I was like, what the hell? Yeah, good graces. Okay, I heard racist, and that's where the confusion came from. Okay, so an indulgence is, don't write this down, I'll give you a cleaner definition. So if I killed a guy last night, I go to my priest and say, Father, for I have sinned, and they will say, my daughter, what have you sinned? I'll be like, dude, last night I got wild, I killed a guy. And then he's going to say, oh shit, you killed a guy? And I'm like, yes, what are we going to do about it? He's like, give me $1,000 and Jesus will still let you in the club of heaven. I'll be like, yes. So what do? Give him $1,000. Congratulations, I just committed an indulgence. An indulgence, and this is what you're writing down, is when you pay for forgiveness. Martin Luther completely disagrees with this because Martin Luther thinks Jesus wouldn't approve. So he says that all these people are, you don't have to write this down, but Martin Luther, this is his biggest complaint. He believes that Martin Luther thinks that all these people are getting into heaven once they pay the $1,000, so they're not trying to clean their soul, but when they get to the gates of heaven, they're rejected, and it's setting all these people up for failure, and it's corruption, and it's disgusting, and this is not what Christianity is about. Yes? So, Martin Luther posts what document on the door complaining about indulgences and a whole line of other things, Penelope? The 95 Theses is held on the door. That 95 Theses is pulled from the door and brought what to what new piece of technology which will make it go viral for the first time, Rylan? The printing press. It'll start being printed and then circulated throughout all of Western Europe. The Protestant Reformation will create the second fracture in Christianity. What is the first fracture in Christianity, Bella? The Great Schism. Okay? Now, let's go back a little bit to the Great Schism just to clean up those details. In about 1100, or like 1200, right around there, so pre our time period, but you should know, the Great Schism is the fracture of Christianity into two sects. What are the two sects that are created, Ella? There you go. Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholics are created from the Great Schism. Okay? It's created because you don't have to write this down, but just listen. During the Fourth Crusade, a bunch of Western European crusaders went to Constantinople, burned the shit down, stole all the stuff, broke a bunch of the religious icons, and said that they were worshiping the devil. That is going to piss off the Constantinople and the Eastern Orthodox, and that's going to create the Great Schism, and that's the foundation of it. Okay, so under what sect of Christianity does Protestantism, which you do need to know the term Protestantism, going to fracture under? Ross. Roman Catholic. So, right now we have three sects of Christianity. You have Eastern Orthodox, which is by itself. You should know what three countries are Eastern Orthodox, primarily. Two of them historically significant, one of them is kind of Tampa thing. What do you got? Russia is a big one you have to know because the Romanovs are going to bring it back. We're going to talk about the Romanovs today. Russia is Eastern Orthodox, okay? Greece is Eastern Orthodox, and you should know that. The Byzantines are Eastern Orthodox, and that's the big historically important one. Now, the Byzantines are outside of our time period. They died in 1202, so we're 2 years in, but you should know the Byzantines are Eastern Orthodox. Roman Catholic is where we have the fracture of the Protestants, where we have Martin Luther doing his thing. If you are Catholic, you call yourself Catholic. If you call yourself a Christian, you are a part of the Protestant branch on some leaf of that Protestant branch. What do you got?
What's an Orthodox Jew?
They're part of the Jewish faith.
But like, is it?
They have different sects of Judaism, just like Christianity. All right, here we go. So, we have the Protestant Reformation. Martin Luther does his thing. You need to know that the Protestant Reformation will cause the 30 Years' War. The 30 Years' War is Protestants versus Catholics. Okay, on your two teams, for your Catholic nations, you have who? Who is our diehard Catholics? They're super proud to be Catholic. Nina. Okay, Latin America is Catholic because of what European country that's going to fight in the 30 Years' War? Spain. Excuse me. Spain is the big one. Portugal is also a big Catholic nation. And France-ish. Half of France turns Catholic, half of it stays Catholic, the other half turns Protestant. It's an ish because they go back and forth throughout the war because it's 30 years. Protestants, who are a Protestant nation, Reese? Britain, of course, because who turns England Protestant, Evan? Henry VIII. Why does Henry VIII turn it Protestant, Haley? I'm Henry VIII, I am. This is the cool shit, man. Henry VIII, what's he famous for? He's the King of England. He's like the only one you would know because it's like cool. Haley, I don't mind being wrong. I don't like no answers. What is it, Micah?
The Pope didn't allow him to remarry.
Yeah. Yeah, because how many times does he get married, Micah? 8, Micah. He gets married 8 times. He kills 3 of his brides, Haley. That's the cool shit. Okay, Henry VIII wants a divorce. Catholic Church won't give it to him, so he becomes... Yeah, so he can get a divorce. Okay? So, Henry VIII, he turns England Protestant to get a divorce. You need to know that. Henry VIII also... Just dying. It's fine. Henry VIII also creates the Church of England. Okay, so he creates the Church of England, and who is obviously the leader of the Church of England? Obviously. Okay, and this is a very big deal. Henry VIII is going to be replaced by who? Which daughter will be the Queen of England, Evan? Queen Elizabeth I will take over because Henry VIII has no sons who would traditionally be the heir, so Elizabeth I becomes queen. She is going to defeat what country and defeat their armada? Ella?
I have the answer to the question.
Oh, I like that. What do we got? Who do they defeat in 1517?
Spanish.
Yes, write down 1517. Elizabeth I defeats the Spanish Armada. So who is now the most powerful country in the world in 1517? Under a woman's reign. Yes! I was excited about that. What do you got?
My question is, do you want us to put the UK or just England? 'Cause didn't Scotland remain Catholic, and wasn't there like divisions between?
Oh yeah, it's
We need to know that.
things are way more complicated than what I'm leaning
But we
on.
don't need to know.
No, you don't need to know because you just need to know big stuff. Okay, so Elizabeth I, 1517, defeats the Spanish Armada. England is now the most powerful nation in the world. Okay? 30 Years' War. You still have on your list of countries, you have England, you have Germany. Why Germany? Why are they Protestant, Sailor?
Because Martin Luther was German.
Yeah, of course. And France-ish. Because part of France is Protestant. Okay. You need to know the 30 Years' War will end in the Peace of Westphalia. West, Phalia. Does anyone know what the Peace of Westphalia guarantees? And it's a founding principle to the world today. No? Okay. State sovereignty. It ends the 30 Years' War and creates state sovereignty. And what is state sovereignty? Because I taught you this.
It's what the estimate has the power to govern themselves.
Yes! It's when a country has the power to make decisions within its borders. So if a country wants to be Protestant, can a Catholic nation tell it to be Catholic? No. If a country wants to be Protestant, then they get to be... That is the major major thing that comes out of the Peace of Westphalia, and that is the fundamental law that exists in the world today. The reason why everyone hates Russia in 2023 is they voided Ukraine's state sovereignty. Okay? What do you got, Evan? Peace of Westphalia. Phalia. Phalia. What?
And what were other countries that were Protestant? Germany, Britain?
Germany and Britain and France-ish, because half of France is that. Those are the major big ones. England and Germany and France-ish. You need to know the direct outcome of the 30 Years' War will push what country to force Catholicism on every person they meet, Ford? Spain. Okay? Spain loses. It's not a lose. They just kind of agree to stop killing each other. But that forces Spain to be like, oh my God, we lost all these Catholics. We got to be better than the Protestants. And that's what forces them to shove Catholicism down the throats of all of the indigenous here in the Americas. Okay? Now, another outcome of the Protestant Reformation, which we didn't really get to, is going to be, oh my God, it's in Spain, and they go, the Reconquista. Okay, so we've already kind of talked about the Reconquista. We know it takes 900 years, yes? And it ends in what year? the only year in Spain that anything matters, Rylan. 1492, the Reconquista ends. And who are the two Spanish people that you have to know that have been married together, Christian? Ferdinand and Isabella are responsible. In 1492, they end the Reconquista, and yeah. So, post 30 Years' War, in the middle, actually towards the end of the 30 Years' War, we have the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition. The Spanish Inquisition was an attempt to eradicate or push out all Protestants out of Spain. And how are they going to do that, Kira? When you hear about the Spanish Inquisition, do you get positive thoughts or negative ones? Yeah, because how did they push all the Protestants out? Yeah, they just murdered them. Burned them at the stake. And guess who most of them were? Women. They used it as an opportunity to target women. Any strong-willed women, they would burn at the stake and say they're Protestants. Isn't that nice?
Like Protestants?
Yes. It was all about anyone who was anti-Catholic or anyone who had any criticism against the Spanish government. Anyone, like, for instance, okay, no one likes Nina, so we would be like, oh my God, Nina is a total Protestant, even though she's like the most devout Catholic person we know. So guess what would happen to our Nina? Oh, yeah. She would be. Whew. Okay, that's the Spanish Inquisition. That is happening as part of this whole Protestant Reformation. Okay, in response to the Protestant Reformation, is this all new information? A little bit is patchy, right? It's a little patchy. Okay, in response to it, the Catholics are going to have the Counter-Reformation. Write it down. Catholics have the Counter-Reformation. So, I think we can all agree Martin Luther made some points. So the Catholics are like, oh man, we've lost half our people. We got to fix it. So, in the Counter-Reformation, they create the Jesuits. Oh my God, like the school? Yes. And they're all about educational study and charity. Okay? They're also going to outlaw indulgences. So, no more corruption in the Catholic Church, right? It's completely outlawed. Catholic Church is an upstanding organization, right? Maybe. What do we got? Wait.
So, did Martin Luther want to leave the Catholic Church?
No, he wanted to fix it. And then they tried killing him like 15 times, and he's like, maybe I shouldn't be a part of that organization anymore. The original idea was to fix it, because he was Catholic, he was a devout Catholic, and believed in Catholicism. Okay. The Council of Trent is where the Catholic Church tries to fix itself. Okay? Council of Trent. That's when the Catholic Church is really trying to fix itself as best as it can. And it does a pretty good job because it only loses half its people. Not all of its people. And it almost lost like 3/4 of its people. So, I mean, that's pretty significant. Because the points Martin Luther does bring up are pretty consequential. And it shakes the Catholic Church to its core, and it does make some major changes, and we're going to see that. All right. Here we go. All right. So, you are going to see post-Protestant Reformation. Europe is very fractured and competitive, which will push them to find wealth elsewhere. And where are they going to find this wealth? In the Americas, for specifically the Spanish, the British, and the French. Where else are they going to find it, Rylan? Africa and Asia. So, things are not good in Europe, so people are like, all right, well, I got to make myself more powerful and influential, so I'm going to go start seeking. So, the Protestant Reformation is a real gut change for Europe, okay? And they start looking elsewhere in order to spread the influence and their ideas, and this is really the crux of moving forward. All right, skip a space center, gunpowders. Okay, your gunpowder empires, you need to know they are predated. So before your gunpowders, you have a thing called Tamerlane. Tamer, Tamerlane. Tamerlane. He is going to take over most of the Middle East. Just write it down. Takes over most of the Middle East. And with his death, a power vacuum is created. Okay? He pushed centralized government, a rebirth of art and culture, which is the foundational principles of your gunpowder empires. Okay, so he dies, his empire collapses, and he will be replaced by 3 gunpowder empires. The first one we're going to talk about is the Ottomans. Okay, the Ottomans, you need to know they are the biggest. They are the longest lasting. How long do they last to, Caitlin? Oh shit, yeah, but what's like the date? What year? Why'd you know 600 years but you didn't know the date? I'm impressed by the 600, but there is a date and you should know the date. What is it, Evan?
There's like a date. I know it's 1918.
1918. That's what a year. That's what I'm looking for. 1918 because the Ottoman officially collapsed at the end of what war? World War I. They picked the wrong team and they cannot make it, so they collapse. All right. 1918. Okay, so the Ottoman Empire, it's the biggest, it's the longest. You need to know. I think I have to go to the doctor.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be a good idea.
Whew. Anyway, the Ottoman Empire. We'll do it at some point after the AP exam. I got 6 weeks. I'm just kidding. I might die before then, so it's fine.
You know.
Oh, you have the weekend.
Doctors aren't really open on the weekends. Yeah, that's like not a thing. Unless you're gonna go to the hospital and that shit is, oh my god, it'd be so poor. Alright, here we go. Welcome to America. Here we go. Alright, for the Ottomans, you do need to know that they are going to their golden age. When I say golden age, what do I mean by that, Zoe? Yes, it's the peak. If you're going to live during an empire, you want to live during their golden age. Suleiman the Magnificent is the golden age of the Ottomans, ladies and gentlemen. He's not up there. Suliman. Suleiman. He is going to expand the Ottomans all the way to Vienna, which means that is halfway through Europe. He is also going to build up their navy. The Ottomans, when we talk about the gunpowder empires, we think of them as land empires, but the Ottomans are really unique because they also have a navy. Their navy is also pretty invincible. Couple things, 3 vocab terms you have to know about the Ottomans, and you just have to know them. The first one is Devashir. What is Devashir? What is Devashir, Micah? Yeah, Devashir. Christian boys have to serve in the military. Okay? They're doing it to protect Muslim boys. So they put the Christian boys in front because the Ottoman Empire is Muslim. What sect of Islam are they, though, Sailor? Sunni. They're the majority piece. You do need to know they're Sunni. Okay. Devashir. You also need to know the term Janissaries, which is their elite fighting force, and most of them are Christians. Now, is Devashir positive for Christians or bad for Christians? No, it's actually super positive. Evan, why?
Because it like socially boosts Christianity and like the Ottoman Empire, like gives them a good
Yeah, because all these Christian boys were supposed to just die on the front lines. But these Christian boys end up fighting like bosses and get super highly respected, which lift all Christians up in Ottoman Empire. Devashir, Janissaries millet system. The millet system is when you break a law, you go to a court based on your religion. AP loves this. So if you're a Muslim, you go to a court that's run by Sharia law. If you are Jewish, you go to a court that's run by the 10 Commandments, and if you're Christian, you're run by 10 Commandments. Huh?
What does that change?
Well, if you're a Muslim, Sharia law is definitely different from the 10 Commandments. Yeah. Okay. What do you got?
So would Jewish people and Christians go to?
No, I think they're different. I don't remember the differences. That's not what I need to know, so I don't know it. And my brain hurts. I've been working on Iran. Stupid structure chart, and it hurts my head. Emily?
Is it for secular crimes?
No, it's for any type of crime in there, right, Evan, who's being rude as hell on his phone? So, it is for any type of crime. It doesn't matter what you do, it's for anything you do. The reason is because the Ottoman Empire is so vast, they're trying to keep it working, okay? Because it's so big. It's one of the largest empires. It's all centralized. So they're trying to make it work. This will lead to their demise. It'll lead to their, because everyone identifies as a different ethnicity. And with what term that comes out of the Treaty of Versailles? What is the term that comes out that everyone wants, Roth? Self-determination. All of the people of the Ottoman Empire, they want to be self-determined by their own decisions. And that leads to the fracture of it. All right, so that's the Ottomans. Okay, let's talk Mughal. They're in India. Okay, you need to know they are the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. They're famous for building what structure? It's the only structure you know in Africa. People, nope, damn it. India. Cyrus, what is it? Everyone turns. You're not in AP Art History, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Let me text Ren. Oh, man. What is it, Kira? Isn't that the only structure you know in India? Didn't you know that before you took AP Art?
There's other ones in India, like that's the only thing in the Mughal.
Yeah, that one's technically in India.
What?
Isn't that?
Yeah, but like everyone knows the Taj Mahal. You're in AP Art though. Oh, Brian's gonna be so cranky. Here we go. So, the Taj Mahal is built by the Mughal Empire. It is done to show the wealth and power. In Unit 3, this is the first time we really start talking about architecture and using it as a power of the government. The Mughal do it with the Taj Mahal to show its power and prestige. Which French ruler does it, or what building, which you've also studied in AP Art History? Lucy? Palace of Versailles, and who's the dude who really lives it? Well, there's 22 Louis, so you're gonna have to narrow it down. 14th, 16th gets his head cut off. Louis the 14th is going to be the Sun King. That's Palace of Versailles. It shows the power of the French government. Okay, and then you also have the Winter Palace in Russia, which is also built to show the power of the Russian governing family. Who is my Russian governing family that comes into power in 1547? Woo-hoo! Well, Romanovs. It's built by Peter the Great. He also does St. Petersburg, which we'll get to. Okay, we've kind of spiraled off track. Akbar, Mughal. Built the Taj Mahal to show its power. You also need to know Akbar is the Golden Age. Akbar's Buddhist, which is unique. However, he pushes Sikhism. What is Sikhism, Reese?
Is it like a syncretic?
It is. What is it blending?
Is it Buddhism and Confucianism?
No. He's a Buddhist. That threw you off. I'm sorry. It's not. What are the two biggest religions in India, Reese?
Hinduism and Islam?
Yeah, they cause lots of problems, so he wants them to kind of be blended together so they can see that there's unity in the two of them. So Akbar is all about Sikhism, all of that stuff, okay? They are going to be removed from power by what invading power, Bo? In the 1700s. Who? Huh? No, in the 1700s? No. Who is it, Ryland? Britain will remove them from power. Okay, the British are going to defeat them. All right. What do you got?
Do they just already
They slowly take over them, but they eventually lead to a ton of corruption, and then they're just like, screw it, I'll take it. All right, here we go. You need to know Safavid. Here we go. They are super unique because they are the smallest sect of Islam, which is what, Ford? Shiite. There are only 2 countries in the history of the world that are Shiite because the minority is so small. Number 1 is who? Safavid. The second is who, Tejas? Iran. The modern state of Iran is also Shiite. Okay, you need to know the entire time the Safavid exists, which is the shortest of the gunpowder empires. They're fighting with who, Lucy? It's another gunpowder empire. Yes, because the Ottomans are what? They're Sunni. The Ottomans are Sunni. The Safavid are Shiites. They're fighting over this rivalry, the whole thing. You need to know that the Golden Age is Shah Abbas. Okay? And he is going to impress, that's not a positive thing, he's going to force Christian boys to fight in the military. Okay? Okay. They are also going to, they also give women more freedom than any other gunpowder empire. It's not a ton more freedom, but it's more freedom. What do you got?
Specifically Christian boys.
Because they didn't want to kill Muslim boys. Because think about it, if you're Islamic, do you want Islamic kids to die?
No, but I just thought that like only Protestants would put like
Whoa.
Christian people in front.
No. Protestants don't hate Christians. They're all, Christianity is the faith. It's just different belief systems.
Oh yeah.
They're Islamic, so they don't want to kill Islamic kids. They'd rather kill Christian kids because like that God doesn't have effect on their afterlife, right? If a bunch of Muslim boys died, and then your Islamic Allah is gonna be really cranky with you that you killed all these boys, right? But if it's a bunch of Christian kids, it's like it's fine. Roth.
How is like in the Safavid, like the Christian boys in the military bad than the Ottomans?
Because the Christian boys, there's not a ton of them, and they get kind of wiped out really, really quickly.
Okay.
And they're at the super lowest levels, and they're not even given an opportunity to succeed. Well, in the Ottomans, they trained them and like, okay, and then they ended up like kicking butt, and like they were celebrated and like pushed and lifted. What do you got, Emily?
Is Dipsham like the name for boat?
Yes. No, it's specifically Ottoman, but it will be used in other places. For
But not Safavid.
not Safavid, because they hate each other. All right. So those are your gunpowder empires. Let's talk Russia, please. Okay. Russia is under Mongol control until 1547. That's over 300 years, almost 400 years after the rest of Europe. Good God.
What was the year?
1547. Okay. So you need to know that it is Ivan the First, who is the first Romanov leader of Russia. Okay, and he will start this transition. Okay, Ivan the Fourth. I'm sorry, Ivan the Fourth, not first. Sorry, Ivan the Fourth will become the first Romanov to rule. He is going to employ the Cossacks. The vocab is right there. Employ the Cossacks and create a feudal society in Russia. He hires the Cossacks, who are these Siberian warriors, to come down and help him defeat the Mongols, and then he gives these Cossacks a bunch of titles, aka feudalism. Feudalism is going to be found in 3 places only in the world: Western Europe, up until the plague. Russia is going to implement in 1547, which is wild because everywhere else it's dead. And then where's the third place? I haven't officially discussed yet. Bo. Japan has feudalism. What is the name of the feudal society in Japan? What do you got? Tokugawa shogunate is what feudalism looks like in Japan. That's where you have your samurais, the emperor, and your shogunates and all that stuff. Yes? Some of this come back? Okay, so going back to Russia. You need to know that Ivan IV pushes out your Mongols in 1547. He creates a feudal society with these Cossacks. They are Eastern Orthodox. That's a huge identifying part. You need to know that it is Peter the Great who is going to try to westernize Russia, to make it more European. Okay? He is going to build a new capital in St. Petersburg in the European style. He's also going to build the Winter Palace, which is insanity. Has anyone ever been to the Winter Palace? No, it's in St. Petersburg, and it is wild. Yeah.
But did you say he
It's right
built the palace and what else?
The Winter Palace, and he built St. Petersburg in the European style. Okay, all of this is to show the power of Russia. It's all about this imperial design. Same thing with the Taj Mahal, same thing with Versailles. It's supposed to consolidate and show the power of those government structures. Okay, that's Russia. Japan, let's go. Japan is going to be feudalistic. Okay, they're feudalistic under the Tokugawa shogunate, which is going to be in place until who shows up? America! And what's the name of Chandler who shows up? Who is it, Bella? Matthew Perry, the actor who plays Chandler on Friends. His real name is Matthew Perry. That was like an amazing joke. And y'all missed it. I'm just saying it was quality. It was quality. You were wrong, and that was hilarious. Okay. Tokugawa shogunate is going to be in power until Commodore Matthew Perry, aka America, shows up. They are eventually replaced by who? Who replaces the Tokugawa shogunate? Evan.
The Japan Empire?
It's not called the Japan Empire. Sailor.
Shoguns?
No, the shoguns are part of the Tokugawa shogunate,
Oh.
which is why it's called the shogunate. See what we did there?
Yeah.
See what we did there?
Here we-
Rickert.
Is it the Meiji Restoration?
The Meiji Restoration will eventually overthrow the Tokugawa shogunate. Okay, the Tokugawa shogunate, it is based on military leaders called shoguns. Okay, shoguns are at the top. They have the daimyos, who are the aristocrats, and then you have your samurai, who are the warrior class. It is decentralized, but they do have an emperor. Okay, so it is just like European feudalism. At the top,
What's it for shoguns?
shoguns, daimyo, samurai. And then you have your peasants.
But emperors above shoguns?
Emperors are above. It's just like the king in feudalism, but the king is completely removed. No one really, you never see the king, you never hear the king. The most important person is the lord. The most important person is the shogun. Alright, so they are going to hold power for a very long time. I think they hold power for 700 years. And that's what you need to know. The Tokugawa shogunate. The Meiji Restoration doesn't happen until the 1800s. So they're going to be in power for a long time. The Tokugawa are going to be the ones who close the doors. They do close the doors, which is why they get blamed when Commodore Matthew Perry shows up and they're like, look, you screwed us, we're so far behind, and la-di-da. What do you got?
On the exam, if we spell something, it's
If you spell it but it looks like it is, you're fine. Okay? Alright. So, as you can see, Palace of Versailles, St. Petersburg Winter Palace. See, I'm just, what? Oh, that's Suleiman the Magnificent. It's very pretty. Alright, let's talk Ming. Okay, the Ming. We talked about him briefly. What is the only thing the Ming care about, Micah? How is it only second period? Can we just talk about that? God damn. Culture, because they come after what dynasty, Micah? The Mongols, which is really called what dynasty, Micah? The what? The Yuan dynasty. So the Ming comes after the Yuan dynasty, who are the Mongols, and so they're just trying to recreate. Are the Ming really powerful? No, because all they care about is cultural stuff. So they get kicked down, they get beaten real quick. Write it down. They are defeated by who? What is the name of the people? Not the empire. What do you got, Rylan?
The White
No, White Lotus overthrows the yawn. What do you got, Kira? Manchu! There are technically 2 foreign invaders of Japan, China, who set up dynasties in China. The first one is the Mongols, who create what dynasty? Then your second invader are the Manchus, and they create the Qing dynasty. We're in the Qing dynasty. It is the last one. Qing. The Qing dynasty is your last dynasty of China. It is held by foreign invaders called the Manchus. Okay? It's not the water. It's just death. It's death. It's here. And it's fine.
So where did the Manchu come from?
The Manchu are from the north, and they invade because the Ming are super weak, and they're just like doing art and shit, and they're like, well, let's take it. And they do. So, the Qing are going to come in. It is the last dynasty. They will be officially removed from power in 1911. They come into power in the 1500s. See ya. It's from my upper respiratory infection that hasn't cleared, and now it's starting to sink, so it's probably going to turn into pneumonia if I don't fix it.
Just go to the doctor.
I know, but when, Sailor?
I don't take Friday off or something like that.
No, when? How are you going to take your
I'm
test?
not here. It doesn't. It doesn't matter to me.
We're in review, people!
Bennett, please.
You have.
Thank you, Bennett. I'll see you
Yeah.
Like, we just like
You get pneumonia and then you can't teach us.
Yeah, then we have the sweet relief of death, and that's nice too. See ya.
One day is better than 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, I like being with you